All right, ready to dive deep into what it takes to be exceptional. Not just good, but truly next level.
I'm with you.
And our guidebook for this journey, it's Paul Robinson's Exceptional or Nothing.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book. He lays out these 10 principles for achieving that exceptional level.
Right.
And today we're zeroing in on the 9th one, set parameters to redefine industry excellence. Basically, how defining what really makes something great is how you end up standing out.
You know, this principle really hit me. Like, I've been trying to get better at photography lately.
Yeah.
And it's like, this principle just clicked. It's not just about, taking clear photos. There's so much more to it.
Absolutely.
Like composition, lighting, telling a story with the image.
Exactly. And Robinson starts off with this almost shocking emphasis on attention to detail.
Okay.
He even throws out this stat. A tiny error rate, like 0.1%, can have huge consequences. Like, think about it, misplaced babies in hospitals, wrongful convictions.
Oh.
Suddenly, sweating the small stuff doesn't seem so much about just being neat, right? It's about preventing real disasters.
Yeah, it puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
Like, okay, attention to detail matters, but the book doesn't stop there. It asks this deeper question.
Yeah.
Like, why do we miss these crucial details in the first place?
Yeah.
And it comes down to, blind spots. Everyone has them, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Biases, assumptions that stop us from seeing the whole picture.
And Robinson even quotes Donald Rumsfeld here.
Oh, yeah.
The whole known unknowns guy.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't even know what we're missing. But here's the thing. It's not about becoming, superhuman detail detectors. It's about being strategic about it.
Okay, I like that.
Robinson really argues that what we need to do is define these parameters of excellence, the criteria that truly make something great.
So unpack that for us. What are these parameters exactly?
Well, he breaks it down into 2 types. First, you've got your basic parameters. Think of this as the entry fee to the game. Like, to even be in the running for Miss Universe, got to be attractive, right?
Right.
Or in bodybuilding, you need a certain level of muscle mass. That's basic.
Okay, so like the table stakes, the bare minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then things get really interesting.
Okay, this is where it gets juicy.
Yes. This is where you go from good to exceptional. We're talking additional parameters.
Okay.
And this is often about those subtle things most people miss. Like, take music, for example. Anyone can learn a few chords on a guitar, right?
Right.
But it's mastering the technique, the rhythm, the emotion that separates, the hobbyist from the rock star.
Absolutely.
That's the difference.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I love the examples Robinson uses, like with Miss World and Miss Universe. It's not just about looks, right?
No.
There's intelligence, talent, social impact. It's way more multifaceted.
It's a whole package.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the whole package.
Yeah.
And same with Mr. Olympia or Mr. Universe. Muscle is like the baseline, but then it's symmetry, conditioning, how you pose, how you present yourself.
Exactly. It's like there's this whole hidden judging criteria that most people don't even consider.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where the innovation often comes in, right?
Yeah.
Like someone pushes those additional parameters,
Yeah.
and suddenly there's a whole new standard. Like what comes to mind for me is architecture. Think skyscrapers. Basic level, they got to be tall and structurally sound.
Right, of course.
But then you get these architects who take it way further, thinking about energy efficiency, sustainability, how it fits into the city, the landscape.
Yeah, that's what makes a building truly iconic.
Totally.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking about doing things right, but doing things exceptionally right.
Exactly. That shift in thinking is what Robinson is driving at.
Okay.
You got to move beyond just checking the boxes and start
Right.
thinking about how to elevate those boxes, redefine the whole game entirely.
I love it. So this is all super fascinating, but how do we actually put these into practice?
Yeah.
How do we go from, understanding these parameters
Yeah.
to actually using them to achieve something great?
That's where Robinson gets really tactical. He brings up this amazing example from Toyota.
Okay.
The and-on cord.
That's
Basically,
really-
any worker on the assembly line can pull this cord
Oh, yeah.
and stop production if they see a defect.
Wow.
It sounds so simple,
Right.
but it's this powerful commitment to catching those errors early.
It's like they're saying quality matters more than speed,
Yeah.
which feels so counterintuitive in today's world.
Exactly. It's about building a culture of excellence
Right.
where everyone feels empowered to speak up, to make sure things are done right. And that brings us to a key question for you listening.
Oh, here we go.
What are the unspoken parameters of excellence in your field? Where could you push the boundaries? Maybe even pull that metaphorical andon cord to say, hey, we can do better here.
I like that. That's a good one to think about.
Yeah.
And Robinson even gives some really practical advice on how to actually push those boundaries.
Yeah.
He talks about studying your competitors.
It's not about copying, though.
Right.
It's about analysis. What are they doing well? Where are they falling short?
Right.
And then how can you use that knowledge to be even better?
It's like a chess game, right? You're studying your opponent's moves, trying to anticipate their strategy, and then find ways to outmaneuver them.
Totally.
And Robinson's saying this kind of strategic thinking, that's essential for setting those new parameters for real innovation.
He uses a great example from luxury watches. There's this brand, Allonge and Sohn, known for these crazy, intricate watch movements they make.
Okay.
For years, the standard for a high-end watch was to have a tourbillon. It's this complex mechanism to, counteract the effects of gravity on timekeeping.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that.
But Allonge and Sohn, they decided to push it further. They developed this whole new escapement system, the fusee and chain transmission, and it achieved even greater accuracy and precision.
So they didn't just accept the existing parameter of excellence, they redefined it.
Exactly. And in doing so, they created this whole new level of luxury and craftsmanship.
I mean, that's incredible. And that's the power of understanding and manipulating those additional parameters, right?
Yeah.
It's not just doing things better, it's doing them differently, setting a whole new standard.
Completely agree. Okay, so we talked about attention to detail, defining those parameters, studying your competitors, even pulling the andon cord, so to speak.
Right.
It's a lot, but what's really striking me is how excellence, it's not this static destination.
Right.
It's an evolving journey.
Yes. Robinson makes that so clear. He says the parameters themselves are constantly shifting.
And to really drive this home, he uses an example that I think might surprise some people.
Oh, okay. Hit me with it.
Hollywood casting.
Okay. Intrigued. What do movies have to do with parameters of excellence?
Well, think about it. Traditionally, casting decisions were based on talent,
Right.
looks, experience. But in recent years, there's this whole new parameter that's emerged. Social media following.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You see that all the time now.
Right.
Actors with huge online followings are getting cast, even if they don't have a ton of acting experience.
Exactly. And, it makes sense from a business perspective.
Sure.
Studios want actors who can bring in a built-in audience. It's part of how the entertainment industry is evolving with streaming services, the importance of digital marketing. It's all connected.
So it's not that talent and experience don't matter anymore.
No.
It's that the parameters of what makes a successful actor have expanded.
Precisely. And, this applies to almost any field you can think of.
Oh, I bet.
Technology, social trends, even economic shifts, they all reshape what it means to be successful, to be exceptional.
It's like the ground is constantly shifting under our feet. So how do we stay ahead of that? How do we make sure we're not chasing outdated parameters?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And Robinson's final principle, strategic selection, offers some really good guidance.
Okay.
But before we jump into that, let's just take a second to think about everything we've learned so far.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
Attention to detail, defining those parameters, studying competitors, and even realizing those parameters themselves evolve.
Right.
It's a lot, but it's also incredibly empowering.
I agree, it is. It's like we're getting this behind-the-scenes look at how exceptional people think and operate.
I like that.
And, I think it all comes down to intentionality, right?
Yeah.
Being mindful of those details, setting high standards for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And being willing to adapt and evolve as the world changes.
Beautifully said. That mindset of intentionality, that's really at the heart of strategic selection, which we're going to explore in the next and final part of our deep dive.
All right, so we're back, and I'm still kind of reeling from that whole Hollywood casting thing.
Yeah, me too.
It really hits home that excellence isn't about following some fixed formula. It's about adapting, right, as the world changes.
Absolutely. And that's where Robinson's 10th and final principle comes in, strategic selection.
Okay.
It's all about making those conscious choices about where we're going to put our energy and effort. We can't be exceptional at everything, right?
Right.
And that's okay.
Right, yeah.
In fact, trying to do it all can lead to burnout and just being mediocre.
Yeah. I can see that.
It's like trying to juggle way too many balls at once. Eventually,
They all drop.
they're all going to come crashing down.
It's funny you say that because Robinson actually uses a buffet analogy, which I love. He's like, you can't try everything at the buffet and still really savor the meal.
Exactly. We have to make choices. And those choices, they should be based on what really matters to us, where we can have the biggest impact.
Yeah.
And what lines up with our values and our goals.
So it's about intentionality with our time and our energy.
Yes.
Not just saying yes to every opportunity that pops up, but really curating our own path to excellence.
Yeah. I love that. Curating.
It's like choosing our battles.
Absolutely. It's about identifying where we can really shine and then going all in on that. And that means saying no to some things, even if they seem like good opportunities.
You know, it's funny. I used to think successful people were the ones who just said yes to everything.
Right.
But this principle is showing me that it's really about being selective, recognizing that sometimes less is more.
It's about prioritizing quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And honestly, this principle really hit home for me personally. I used to spread myself so thin, trying to do a million projects at once.
I feel that.
But then I read Exceptional or Nothing, and it was like a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
I realized I needed to focus my energy on the stuff I was truly passionate about, the things where I could make a real difference.
So you actually applied this principle to your own life.
Yeah, I did. And it's been huge.
How so?
I'm more focused, way more productive, and just more fulfilled in my work. It's like I finally found my lane and I can actually, drive in it with intention and purpose.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a good reminder that these principles, they're not just these, abstract concepts. They're tools we can actually use.
Yes.
But for someone who's feeling overwhelmed, maybe stuck in that say yes to everything mode.
Right.
Where do they even begin?
Well, Robinson suggests starting with some self-reflection, like asking yourself, what am I truly passionate about?
Okay.
What are my unique strengths, my talents? Where do I see the biggest opportunities to grow, to really contribute?
So it's about aligning our ambitions with our values and skills.
Yeah.
And being honest with ourselves about what's working and what's not.
Yeah.
It's like taking stock of our lives.
Yeah.
And making conscious choices about what we keep and what we let go of.
You got it. And it's not a one-time decision either. Our priorities change over time. Our interests evolve.
Of course.
The key is to be flexible, adaptable, but always stay true to our core values and those big aspirations. It's like having this compass that guides us on our journey, but being willing to, adjust course as we go.
So strategic selection, it's not just about choosing the right projects or opportunities. It's about constantly checking in with ourselves, right? Making sure we're still on the path that aligns with who we are.
Yes, 100%. It's about being the architects of our own lives, designing a path that leads to, both fulfillment and exceptional results.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Attention to detail, those parameters of excellence, studying competitors, and ultimately making those strategic choices about where we put our energy. It's been a real deep dive into exceptionalism, and I feel like I've got some really valuable takeaways.
Same here. And, if there's one thing I hope our listeners walk away with today, it's this. Excellence, it's not a destination, it's a journey. It's about constantly striving, growing, pushing ourselves to be better, one strategic choice at a time.
I love that. Beautifully said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. But before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought-provoking question. If you could pick one area of your life to really focus on to achieve exceptional results, what would it be?
Ooh, that's good.
And what would you be willing to let go of to make that happen?
That's powerful. It's in those choices that we really define our own path to excellence.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into exceptional or nothing. Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep aiming for the exceptional.